Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Cheryl D'Souza as well. Cheryl, a very good afternoon to you as well. Markets, yes, have managed to hold on to those 20,900 levels, but this is where it's been. The 21,000 is going to take some time and seems like a slow move coming into that trend.
Absolutely, Vinny. But let's not forget the sharp rally that the market has also witnessed. No doubt, we are seeing some sort of a consolidation or a pause when it comes to the market move towards that 21,000 mark. Remember, it was just yesterday that we were actually eyeing that mark 30 points, 30 or 40 odd points away from those levels. But then nevertheless, we are above 20,900 when it comes to the Nifty Bank. In fact, is outperforming the benchmark indices. It is in the positive territory as we speak, while the broader markets are actually at the day's highest point. So that's the way how the markets are transpiring at this point in time. At least we are seeing a tilt in the advanced decline ratio in the favor of the gainers. So let's wait and watch. 2 hours of trading session left, and but let's count down all the stocks that are buzzing in trade, Vinny.
Absolutely. Let's start that countdown of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade, and for that, on the technicals, we are joined by Ashish Kyal, while from the research team, we have Ashish joining in with us today as well. A very good afternoon to both of you all as well. And let me start with the first stock that's in focus today and we're keeping an eye out on is Ircon International. Now, this stock actually today seems like it's a bit under pressure as well, and it was down as much as 8%, recovered from those days lowest point. As of now, also down 5.4% after the government's OFS issue is kicking off today. Yes, tomorrow is for retail investors overall, but yes, this OFS is of around, when you look at it, they're looking to sell around 8% stake in the company, or 7.52 crore shares, which is at a floor price of 154 rupees, which is a discount of 10% from the yesterday's closing price. So yes, we've seen a bit of a fall coming in on that front as well. Overall, the stake sale was worth around 1,165 crores, and on the back of this, we're seeing Ircon International today down and out in trade. As of now, cuts of almost 5.5%.
All right, let's shift focus and let's talk about a sector that was in the forefront since the word go, and that is the sugar space as a whole. Remember, earlier this morning, you had news in the wire agencies which said that the government is actually going ahead and mulling on curbing the ethanol production. This in order to actually curb the shortage of sugar in India. So on back of that, you saw all of these counters actually slumping in trade. We saw Balrampur Chini that was down approximately 6%, Triveni Engineering, all of them were seeing cuts upwards of above 5%. But government sources have told ET now that as of now, they're not in there's no active consideration on the fact of going ahead and curbing the ethanol production. They are committed to meeting that 20% ethanol blending target by 2025. On back of that particular news piece, the ET now broke, and you saw a sharp reaction on these counters. All of them recovered from the day's lowest point. But nevertheless, yes, there is some sort of a pressure coming in the sugar pack. Let's not forget what's happening globally also when it comes to the sugar prices. The sugar prices are at a 10-month low, and that also is kind of having an impact on the sugar counters. But for now, what ET now has picked up from the sources is the fact the government is not in, there is no active plan in consideration when it comes to curbing the ethanol production. So on back of that, you can see all of them have recovered from the lowest point.
Absolutely, a recovery coming in for the sugar stocks from the day's lowest point. Let's move on and talk about TCS then. And Ashish, are we expecting any recovery now on these IT companies and large IT companies, which have been quite subdued? TCS specifically in the last 1 month seems like at least a slight bit of an upward momentum is what we are seeing. What are your charts indicating now?
If you look at the overall IT space, I think the IT sector is coming out from the large cap IT space especially is coming out from a long-term downward trend, and it's reversing back on the upside. I think it is better to be on the Nifty IT sector as a whole is going to outperform and can be the leader that can drive Nifty higher. If you look at TCS formed a very important low around the level of 3320, from where we are seeing a bounce back. There is a very clear higher low formation. That is also suggesting that the short-term trend has reversed back on the upside. I'm expecting the stock to move towards the level of 3,800 over near term, and on the downside, one can maintain a stock of around 3,540 levels.
All right, let's move on then, Shesha, and let's talk about the stocks of the day. Yes, Paytm is stock of the day, given the fact that sharp slump that counter has witnessed. But along with that, you also have AB Capital that is actually bearing the brunt of what exactly the commentary came in from Paytm, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. And Paytm, in fact, conducted a call yesterday to discuss their loan disbursement outlook, where the management said that they will be reducing exposure to small ticket loan sizes below 50,000. Remember, this segment contributes about 70% of their loan book, and hence this came in as a major negative for Paytm. In fact, we have a couple of brokerage notes that have come in where JP Morgan has downgraded Paytm to neutral from their earlier overweight rating. They've also cut their target price drastically from 1200 rupees per share to now 900 rupees per share. They say slowdown seems preemptive in nature, and they've also gone ahead and cut FY24 to 26 revenue estimates by as 4 to 9% and adjusted EBITDA estimates by 7 to 34%. Meanwhile, Goldman Sachs has also downgraded the stock to neutral. They've cut their target price from 1250 to 840. They say there is low near-term growth visibility for Paytm, and they now expect FY25 growth disbursables to stand at 0% growth on a year-on-year basis versus 37% earlier. So on the back of this announcement that has come in, both brokerage houses have also gone ahead and downgraded the stock. Paytm, of course, is down nearly 17.5%, and Indian shadow lenders, the likes of Aditya Birla Capital, that partner with Paytm and others for smaller loans, are also under pressure today. Aditya Birla Capital, as we speak, is down nearly 2.5 to 3%.
Absolutely, and we have a note that also came in on Aditya Birla Capital, like Ashish was mentioning as well, because of the shadow lenders, that they expect from Morgan Stanley, this notice, they expect an earnings impact likely on Aditya Birla Capital of around 2 to 3% as well, likely under that 2 to 3%. So yes, that's why also Aditya Birla Capital, being the shadow lenders, seeing some impact on AB Capital as well. Let's keep an eye on that. Let's move on, and Ashish, talk about HDFC Bank. In terms of charts, what are we picking up for HDFC Bank now?
See, if you look at HDFC Bank, I think the overall stock, which was struggling for about 2 weeks back, has now managed to do a very smart recovery on the upside. And this is also along with the Bank Nifty touching lifetime highs, but HDFC Bank is still way below the lifetime high levels. The momentum is strong. I think the stock is going to keep moving on the upside and can result into Bank Nifty also moving higher. So we can expect HDFC Bank to move towards the level of 1700 on the upside, and on the downside, the support for the stock is going to be around 1580.
All right, so that is the take coming on HDFC Bank. All hopes are pinned on that particular counter to revive, isn't it, Winnie?
Absolutely, all hopes on that counter to revive. But let's move on and talk about IDFC first. Today the stock is down and out in trade, and why is that so? This is also on the back of a block deal that is happened. We've seen the stock, a change of hands that has happened today as well, of around 2% equity change of hands via a block deal, and post that we saw that the stock price fell as much as 3%. Now when you look at it, what we are also understanding is that this block deal is of around 1,162 crores, as around 0.3%, almost approximately that much percent of a stake that we're seeing. And Warburg Pincus is something that will be looking to sell, or its affiliate companies will be some of them that what we've understood from sources will be looking to sell 1.3% stake, I believe, and 833 crores, I beg your pardon. The price is going to be at around 85.7, which was a discount of 5% from yesterday's closing price. So on the back of that, we've seen IDFC First Bank today is a bit under pressure as well. Let's keep an eye out on this stock today, as of now trading with cuts of 2.5%.
All right, on that note, we'll actually slip into a break on this edition of Market Fatafat. When we come back, we'll continue taking all of your stocks. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now, and let's talk about the stock that is locked in the upper circuit about 20%, and that is SpiceJet for you. It is highest to its highest level since August 2022. And why is that? Because the company has informed the exchanges that they will be considering fundraising options at their December 11th board meeting. And on back of that, if you can see, the stock is actually perched, or rather locked in the upper circuit 20%, its biggest intraday jump since October 13. What sources have told ET Now is the fact that the company may look to raise about 1,000 to 1,200 crore rupees via issue of equity shares. Remember, they are meeting on December 11th, and what ET now is picking up, most likely they are likely to mull on raising about 1,000 to 1,200 crore rupees via equity shares. Remember, the company is in a financial crunch and they are looking to raise this particular capital in order to fulfill their requirements, to go ahead and pay pending salaries, as well as revive their grounded fleet of 25 aircraft. So on back of the fact that they're meeting on December 11th to mull fundraising option, you can see a SpiceJet stock up a circuit of about 20% as of now.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Industar then. And Ashish, when you look at the charts, last 1 month it's remained quite in that range. Now, today seems like the stock is picking up some bit of a pace. Is that an indication you're picking up on the charts?
Yes, if you look at Industar, I think 194, 195 is the level where it has tried to be there and reversed from there multiple times. But looking at the size of the candle and looking at the volumes, I think this time it's going to break out above this 195 level. And if that happens, we will see a huge move on the upside with strong momentum towards the level of 208. And on the downside, one can maintain a stop loss of 184. So the overall outlook is bullish, and we are expecting a pattern breakout for the target of 208.
All right, moving on. Shesha, let's talk about Sandur Manganese, and why is this one in focus today?
Well, yes, the stock in fact is soaring in trade today, over 12% higher in trade. This after the company informed the exchanges that the board of directors will be meeting on the 18th of December to consider bonus issue. So on the back of this announcement that has come in from the company, the stock is soaring in trade today. Important to note that the stock has already run up quite a bit. In fact, in the last 1 month, the stock is up nearly 22%. Today, of course, on the back of this plan that the board will be considering bonus issue, the stock is up nearly 12.5%.
Let's move on and talk about Titan on the charts then. And Ashish, on a YTT basis, the stock has actually managed to move up from those 2,500 levels to today 3,500 levels. Do you expect this momentum to continue for Titan?
Yes, indeed, because we are not seeing any kind of a divergence or a slowdown in the stock, and we can clearly see it has been managing to protect its prior day low on closing basis for nearly 7 to 8 trading sessions. That represents that the trend is bullish for Titan even now. One can use any kind of a dip as a buying opportunity. We can expect the stock to move towards the level of 3,800 on the upside, and on the downside, one can maintain a stop loss of around 3,460 levels.
Okay, let's move on and then talk about Bharti Airtel. This one is in focus after there was a block deal that has happened today, change of hands as well, where Warburg Pincus is likely to sell 1.75 crore shares, 0.3% stake in the company of around 1,760 crores. And obviously, we'll wait out for the names of the buyers that will come in this evening as well. The price was at a bit of a discount compared to the closing price of yesterday as well. So on the back of that, we've seen Bharti Airtel that has been in focus today. It's down almost 2% even as of now. Let's keep an eye out on Bharti Airtel. We've seen a change of hands of around 0.3% change of hands and 5 bunch deals that have happened this morning. Keeping an eye out on the names that will be coming out.
All right, moving on, let's talk about Delta Corp, and that particular counter is in focus in today's trading session. It has the news that is supporting the stock move. Last time I checked, the stock was trading higher over 5%. Now it is actually tad bit, actually has given up some of those gains, trading with gains about almost 2%. The High Court of Calcutta has granted interim relief to Delta Corp's unit, Deltatech Gaming, in relation to a GST notice for the tax arrears. Remember that it had got the notice to pay tax arrears worth about 6,384 crore rupees in the month of October and 11,140 crore rupees in the month of September. The fact that it's got an interim relief coming in from the High Court, you can see the stock actually now in the positive territory.
Okay, let's move on and talk about the next stock on the charts, and Balkrishna Industries. Ashish, this one today is buzzing away in trade. What is the expectation in terms of technicals and charts now, and what are the levels you're keeping an eye out on?
See, if you look at the entire space, it has been doing very well, and Balkrishna Industries has managed to protect its important support, which is now at around 2450 level. I think as long as the support level is intact, we can expect the stock to run up again from here on, and expecting a target of 2850. The overall mid-cap and small-cap space is anyways buzzing, and I think Balkrishna will be headed to 2850 level. And for near term, one can maintain a stop loss of 2550.
All right, moving on then, Ashesha, let's talk about Tata Power, and that one is powering ahead in today's trading session. What's the reason behind that?
Well, yes, clearly the stock is up nearly 9% today, and this is on the back of a brokerage note that has come in from JM Financial, where they've upgraded the stock to a buy rating with a revised target price of 350. They say that recalibration of renewable strategy planning of the company is playing out well. Mundra Port is heading towards long-term resolution. They've also spoken about their capex plans. Company aspires to increase transmission capacity to about 10,000 CKT kilometers in the next 5 years. Capex to grow by about 2 times in FY24 to 27 period versus the corresponding period of FY20 to 23. And hence they've gone ahead and forecasted revenue CAGR of 15% by FY26, EBITDA CAGR of 23% and PAT CAGR of 32%. So on the back of this upgrade that has come in from JM Financial, the stock is powering in trade today, 9.8% higher in trade.
Okay, that is Tata Power for y'all. But let's move on, talk about Polycab. This one also has seen a very good growth in the last 6 months as well. Specifically, Ashish, 53% uptick that what we've seen in the last 6 months. YTD basis, doubling in terms of the stock price as well. Is it time to for one to start booking profits in Polycab, or are you expecting a further upside?
See, Polycab has an important hurdle which is around 5460 levels, and it's just nearing to that. I think it's going to manage to cross that hurdle as well, and we can expect it to move towards the level of 6,000. So the overall tone for Polycab is bullish. I'll not be going against the trend. I'll be riding the trend towards 6,000 level in Polycab. And on the downside, one can maintain a support level of around 5250.
Keep an eye on those levels over there for Poly. Let's move on and talk about HUL. This one is in focus. There were a lot of brokerage notes that came in for HUL this morning, especially in terms of, the channel checks, which are suggesting there that in terms of Macquarie's channel check, that's suggesting that there's no festive season linked uptick. That in terms of demand trend, they're seeing the demand trend has largely remained similar to that was seen in Q2 as well. And accordingly, they expect volume growth also would be similar to the levels that have seen in Q2 as well. That's the 2 to 3% range as well. So in Q3 also, maybe we could see that muted volume growth of 2 to 3% and expect EBITDA margins to remain flattish on a quarter-on-quarter basis as well. So yes, similar levels in terms of margins is what we could expect for the EBITDA margins as well. Other than that, we also have Jeffries, who also came out of the channel check on HUL, highlighting that the rural and bottom of the pyramid sentiment remained quite muted for the company, while obviously weak sentiment was there on that front as well. So yes, that weakness that we've seen is continuing there as well. In terms of pricing growth, that's expected to be negative. Competition from local players is something that has continued as well, and that's why you look at HUL today in trade. HUL is down almost 1.7% as well after these channel checks have come in from some brokerage roadshow.
And lastly, how can Market Fatafat be complete without talking about the oil companies, that is particularly the OMCs and all the crude beneficiaries, given the fact that you've seen Brent crude actually now at sub $75 per barrel mark. You have NYMEX crude that's fallen below $70 per barrel mark. So on back of that, you have all the OMCs that are in focus in today's trading session. Though you're seeing some sort of profit booking take place in HPCL and BPCL, remember they've been rallying pretty sharply off late. Apart from that, take a look at what paint stocks are doing, because they are also an immediate beneficiary of crude oil prices decreasing, while ONGC, RIL, Oil India are the ones for them it's a negative. So on back of the fact that the crude oil is cooling off quite sharply, keep an eye on all of these counters.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on all those counters. Now, since we have covered those OMCs, I think we should wrap this edition of Market Fatafat on ET now. That was the last couple of stocks for today as well. Thank you so much, Ashish, as well as Ashish, for joining in with us. And thank you so much, viewers, for tuning into ET now. It's a goodbye from Sharon, myself, as well as the team who put the show together.